What's up, and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today we're taking a look at the latest installment in the Fast and Furious universe of films, which of course is Hobbs Shaw, or if you'd like to rather call it Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs Shaw. This film has been on my radar for a while since I'm such a huge fan of the Fast and Furious series and own them all on Blu-ray. A film centering on Hobbs and Shaw made so much sense as a spin-off to me due to their hilarious chemistry with one another, and I'm only watching it now due to the fact that it's coming out to digital today, so let's break it down. Hobbs and Shaw centers around our favorite frenemies when the CIA informs them both of a dangerous virus hitting the streets that can melt your insides. And what's worse, Shaw's sister is acting as the carrier of the virus, which means they must protect her against the crazy powerful Brixton, played by Idris Elba. To give you an idea of what's going on with him, he calls himself Black Superman, but a more realistic name for him would be probably Black Captain America or Black Terminator, as he's part robot, part super soldier, and can anticipate a number of obstacles in his path before they reach him, making him a nearly unstoppable villain. So if you're worried if this movie is mostly spoiled by what's seen in the trailers, that would be a valid concern, because the best moments of both action and comedy in Hobbs and Shaw are both ruined in any of the trailers, to the point that if you watch the movie, you're really just getting the filler materials in between those shots seen in the trailer. Sure, maybe the action sequences are extended in the real movie, but you get the gist of them in the trailers. So if you haven't seen the trailers, or you weren't really paying that close of attention to what was happening in them, then you'll probably be fine. Otherwise, a good majority of the surprises and entertainment as a whole will sort of be squandered because of the marketing. I saw the trailers, and my worries were realized. That said, it should be stated that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Jason Statham once again do a fantastic job together, and their endless quips back and forth is really the reason this movie exists in the first place. They've always worked really, really well together, and the same can be said here as well. They are hilarious most of the time, and when they need to be, they can pull out a serious performance too. As far as jumping back into character, that was mostly a non-issue given the fact that they're almost always playing a characterized version of themselves, but having them drive cool cars here and there certainly helped remind the audience that the franchise this film is connected to is the Fast and Furious franchise. What's really nice is the fact that I don't think you actually need to watch the Fast and Furious series to understand or enjoy this film. It helps, as always, but there's enough exposition and explanation as a whole for a blind audience to come into this movie as well. They'll probably enjoy it for what it is. I actually wouldn't be surprised if people that never saw Fast and Furious watched this movie and felt the need to go back because they enjoyed what this film had to offer, because at its core, this movie is undoubtedly an enjoyable movie. But as we all know, we can always enjoy a movie that's technically got a few issues, and as expected, Hobbs and Shaw definitely has some issues. It has some issues with the writing. Funny insults and quips aside, what we have here is a somewhat unoriginal story, one that mixes together plots and subplots of other action-oriented films. For instance, the whole subplot of the girl carrying the virus is straight out of Mission Impossible 2. Idris Elba's role as a super soldier is out of a million different movies. Like I said, Captain America is a super soldier that can do a lot of what Idris Elba's character can do in this. The whole robotic side of him can be the Terminator. Heck, you can even argue Iron Man with how he sees the world. Hobbs and Shaw themselves can be seen as a subplot of the whole buddy cop thing. There's just so little in this movie that felt utterly unique. I love the casting, I love the quips, but its unoriginality, I think, hurt it in the long term. It's also kind of convoluted. There's so much going on all at the same time that's just a bit hard to keep track of. If you're easily distractible, one look away from what's happening and you might find yourself a bit lost. That means there's plenty of things happening and never a dull moment, but sometimes too much of a good thing is a bad thing, and I'd have to say that this film often felt over-convoluted. It was nice to have a solid story goal that they were after from the beginning, though. This is all technical, though, right? Because nobody in their right mind is watching this movie to see if it'll win any awards. It won't. That's not the point. The target audience for this film is mostly just going to watch this movie to have a good time, a fun time, and there's nothing telling me that they won't. I'm just saying that they might not have as much of a good time if they saw the trailers, which ruin nearly every aspect of this movie. Take that as you will. Guys, I rated this movie 84%, 84 out of 100 possible stars, which means it was granted a letter grade of B. 4 other 2019 movies I've given the same letter grade, including another heavy action-oriented film, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, just in case that helps you understand other movies this film is on par with. Anyways, tell me what you thought about Hobbs & Shaw in the comments down below. As for YouTube, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button if you like what you saw and would like to see some more. Hit that thumbs up button, as that helps my channel out. And don't forget about that little bell icon, because that helps notify you when I come out with my next review. But until then,